Here's my 2010 Tacoma double cab short box. I'm going to show you my Fox 2.5 dual speed adjustable shocks. So I had to drive the truck this winter. So these had to go through winter. I sprayed them with fluid film to help protect them. When I first put the shocks on, I also clear coated them. So I clear coated the shocks and sprayed them with fluid film, and looks like they're holding up really good. So here's my shocks. I went with the Camberg upper control arm with the ball joint with the cap. Again, in Wisconsin we have salt. That's going to protect it. The Uniball is going to get all that salt and probably rust up. It's just not worth the hassle for right now. So yeah, did the Camberg ball joint. Looks good. 2.5 standard spring is the 600-pound spring. So you can see I got it cranked down about 2 inches. We're at probably about 2 3/4 inch lift, something like that. You can see these guys here. This is how they mount under here. It's a little bit dark. There it goes. It's lightening up. This is your bracket. This bracket bolts on there. This little square on the bottom is your sway bar mount. That relocates your sway bar back further. See those holes? I'm not running my sway bar. And it's not too bad. If you had to daily drive through a lot of roundabouts and things like that, a lot of sharp turns, it's a pain. But driving down the highway and stuff, even with these Cooper ST Maxes, which is a softer sidewall tire, it's fine. I was running my AT3s, I put those on there. It almost drove exactly the same. But obviously off-road it's a lot nicer having an independent front suspension, not connected by that sway bar. So that's it. This is how they mount. Right up in there. Those two hose clamps hold it on. This bracket, if you want to put your sway bar back on, you just mount that back on. And the upper control arms. I'm running my Ultra wheels. Cooper ST Max 285s by 70s. The wheels I only ran about a month or so in the salt. Then I took them off, put my stock wheels back on with my AT3 tires, which are stiffer. These ST Maxes are really nice tires. When you put the 33s back on, you can feel it. Drains the power a little bit, accelerates a little less, eats about a mile to the gallon worse. Here's my rear shocks. Again, sprayed these with fluid film. You can still see it on there. You can see this one might have got a little corroded, and then these top bolts are a little bit rusty. I didn't spray this top enough. I forgot to spray the very top of this nut and bolt, but I made up for it. This might be a little rusted, or that's just dirt. Hard to tell until I wash it off. Those mount in the back. For the back, I wanted to use the 2.5 dual speed adjustable, low speed and high speed compression. I think that does affect the rebound a little bit, but it's mainly for compression. I went with the FJ Cruiser shock. With these Dakar leaf springs, I got the Dakars on there. I already did a little touch-up paint, so they're nice and black again. They were rusted up. I went with the FJ shocks because they're a touch longer than the Old Man Emu shocks, the Dakar springs. Because with the Fox, they don't have longer shocks. They don't really have the right length shock for the Tacoma with the leaf springs. So I had to kind of do my own thing. This is what a lot of guys are doing. A lot of the shops, you can order them set up for the Tacoma. I just ordered, last year when I ordered them, these are like the last pair of shocks available. The coils were the last pair available. Luckily I even got them for last year. They were on back order for months. So this top hose is longer than normal. That hose usually stops right here at the end of the shock. So I had to flip this around. You just loosen that nut up on there and spin that hose around. You can use the FJ shock. On the bottom, you got to do a little more work. This lower mount, let this adjust for the light here. This lower mount is a little different. It might be too dark now. It's bigger. See if this light will adjust. Is it too dark now? There it goes. You can see how tight that is. I had to trim that and then change this bolt out. I think that's a 1/2 inch bolt, and it's actually, the bushing is for 3/4, so you have to have a bushing 3/4 to 1/2 inch, and then drill your lower mount out for a 1/2 inch bolt. That's the easiest way. There's no metric bushing adapter. And then here is my shock. My rear shocks, see, when you go with the FJ shock, and see, you go on the street, you only use a couple inches of your travel. I have 6 inches of down travel on this shock and 3 inches of up travel. And when you load the bed, I have some weight in there now, but if I load it up, it might sag another 1/2 inch or inch, depending on what I'm carrying, if I'm towing my trailer or not. So then I have 5 inches of down travel. For driving on the dunes, I want about that 6 inches of down travel. That's going to work really good. If you don't have at least a 6-inch stroke, you're really going to be tight trying to go on the dunes or desert. And then automatically, you can see I'm running the stock bump. That gives me 5 inches of travel before it hits that bump. And then that bump, you can see that little tip, it'll compress just a little bit, and then I'm getting to my bottoming of my shock. So the stock bumps, for me, work perfect. I don't really know why you need different bumps unless if you're hitting them too hard, because you need a stiffer shock. Okay? When you only have a little bit of travel, you got to run pretty stiff shocks. You don't have a lot of leeway to adjust it. So you go 5 inches of bump stop, 6 inches of down travel here. These have already been revalved in the back. Oops. The rear shocks have already been revalved, and they're working about perfect. I think I had to go up 1 step on rebound and maybe 1 or 2 steps on compression. I can't remember now, but the back is working perfect. The FJ shock is a little stiffer, I think, so it comes pretty close. It comes almost perfect right from the get-go. The Tacoma shock, I don't know if the valving's different or if it's the same, you know, but when you buy these type of shocks, you are going to be revalving them no matter what you do. On the front, I'm going to go back. These front shocks were soft, okay? To tell you the truth, when I got to the dunes, I was a little bit disappointed on how soft they were. They were softer than the Old Man Emu shocks. So it was a little disappointing that it actually couldn't tear around as good. So it was like the first trip was like a wasted trip. I should have ran up north and double checked them first, but they're really soft on the dunes. So definitely went up at least 2 steps on both the compression and rebound, and they're still soft. So I'm going up probably 1 more step, and we should be good. It's almost good right now, but it's just I'm still maxing out my adjustment. And that's it. So I got the Fox 2.5s, dual speed adjusters. The fronts are just the regular factory shocks. Again, I had to have them revalved. You're going up at least 2 stops. They have custom valving, so they don't have standard valving, so they had to convert the valving and kind of go up. So they're we're guessing a little bit. But now it has standard valving in it. So you have to switch the valving over and stiffen it up at least 2 steps. In the front. The back, you're going to be really close. If you're not, on these FJ shocks, if you're not running the dunes, you could probably just get away with them the way they are. Because I think, because the front was soft, so I was barely maxing them out. But for probably 90% of it, they were fine. In the back, maybe just a touch soft, not too bad. But now they're perfect. And that's my Fox 2.5s, dual speed adjustable shocks. They survived this first winter. Hopefully in the next winter I'll be leasing a car, so I won't be driving the truck through the snow every day, only on snowstorms and adventures.